Welcome back to HER. We've got some big news to share with you, but first, a recap. All right, in episode 1, you got to see what kind of gap actually exists between a 1980s 3 Series and the modern day monster 3 Series CS. And the only reason to see what kind of gap exists, well, that's to try and close it, baby. You heard right, the team here at HER is audaciously going to try and build an E30 race car that can compete and maybe even beat the G80 CS. Just a handful of days after filming episode 1, the unthinkable happened and an opportunity popped up that we couldn't just ignore. We bought a 1988 M3, or at least most of one. It's just bare frame. No wheels, no engine, no nothing. But since we were going to strip the 325 IS anyway, this kind of saved us time and money. At least that's what my girl math told me. So all kidding aside, when my buddy, the legend, Chris Castro, told me that he knew of an M3 that was going for a good price, it felt like the universe just wanted this to happen. Luckily, the M3 frame also came with a pile of original parts and body panels. So the next step was to bring it down to Castro Motorsport in LA to have Chris and his team inspect the frame and work their magic on it. Chris, what up, dude? Bro, we are at the famous Castro's. How's it going,
man?
brother? Excited to see what you've been cooking.
Got something for you.
Is this what I think it is?
Official owner of an E30 M3.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to see it. So the reason why I'm trusting Chris and his team with this build is because they are the best in the industry with building E30 M3s. Now, if you were only trying to beat the modern day CS, there's a lot of easy and crazy ways we could approach this project. LS swap, F80 suspension swap, the list goes on and on. But no, we aren't taking the easy route on this build. The HER team is dedicated to legacy and racing heritage. So we will be building this one-of-a-kind E30 M3 CS with the intent to make it look and feel as if it rolled right off of the assembly line in the 80s. So we will focus on maintaining as much of the original M3 platform and parts as possible while respecting this car's iconic heritage. Chris and I have spent a lot of time planning the chassis reinforcement and aerodynamics for this CS build. So enough talking about it, let's go see it and jump into things with Chris.
You know, I don't really get intimidated with whether a car has a clean title, salvage title. It doesn't really matter to me because if it's gonna be like full restoration, I'm gonna check everything anyways, and it's completely stripped.
So let's talk about chassis reinforcement. Think of the chassis as the skeleton of the car, and we need it to be strong and stiff if it's going to beat the youthful G80. A stiff chassis is fundamental to predictable high-performance handling. The stock E30 M3 has a well-engineered unibody. However, sustained lateral and longitudinal loads can cause flex in the frame, revealing the E30 chassis' weak points. To mitigate this, we are reinforcing key stress points all around the chassis.
Over time, you know, E30 M3s and E30s in general, every single car that I've seen has bent shock towers. You know, you gotta remember, they're old, and two, M3s were beat. Nobody wanted them, they just beat the shit out of them and sent them on their way. People drive them with blown struts. All that contributes to the rail. So what we do is, yes, we can straighten the shock towers, we can do all of that. We just changed the front clip, and we put front clips from convertibles, which are way stronger.
Reinforced.
On a standard E30 non-convertible, this portion here usually ends about here.
Okay.
So it's about 5-6 inches longer, so it supports the frame real more. Probably about 3 millimeters thicker, like almost everywhere. They come with reinforced shock towers.
The strut towers are critical load-bearing points where the suspension connects to the chassis, and under high G-forces, they can flex or even deform. So by welding in reinforcement plates, we get more precise steering and predictable weight transfer in and out of turns.
Convertibles also have different inner structures here. Okay. So this whole section here on E30s is a weak point. You know, where there's 10 spot welds, we're adding 25 spot welds.
Spot welding increases localized strength at panel intersections, while seam welding provides continuous reinforcement along structural seams, significantly reducing torsional flex. The result is a more rigid and consistent suspension response under load, preserving camber, caster, and toe. Wait, Johnny, what did he just say? I think he said campers, keisters, and toe shingles. Oh, okay. Look, we'll talk about this more in the suspension episode, but in a nutshell, if my hands represent the wheels and tires, this is camber, this is caster, and this is toe.
We weld the shock towers completely to the inner fenders.
Okay.
We add more weld on the firewall. We add weld on the frame rails. Everything that has a lot of seam sealer, we rip all the seam sealer and we just weld. Then we carry that all the way to the tail section. Because you were gonna track this car and you wanna build the ultimate E30 M3 for yourself, why not take something that's good, make it better, and then make it a little better than that. For the basic individual, none of this stuff's gonna matter. You know, they're not gonna push as hard as you're gonna push.
Makes
But
sense.
for you, this makes perfect sense.
Which just gets me all the more stoked that we did go this route because we got to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm excited, man. It's gonna be wild, it's gonna be great. Can't wait till you're actually driving it down the street.
I know, dude. To sum up, after reinforcing these key stress points, we will have a more rigid chassis. The car will be more responsive, more stable, and have less body roll in the corners. Think less dad bod and more track athlete.
Why do we look so different?
I got the bread and I got the juice. I got some dogs and I let them loose. Bring in the storm, but this ain't the Zeus. Walk in the skies, but this ain't the loop. This ain't the truth. We ain't the same, you ain't have a clue. I'm in the game and untouchable. 'Cause I got the
Yeah, there she is, boys. Wow.
So basically in the stage you see it here is some bodywork's been done.
I love the what you've done to pull the fenders.
Yeah.
Can't even get a smile off my face. This is looking so good.
Man, it's so hard to make these cars look bad. It's sweet right here.
There are two kinds of grip on a race car: aerodynamic grip and mechanical grip. Aerodynamic grip comes from downforce as the wind passes over the car, pressing it into the road. Mechanical grip is the natural grip of the car, as in your suspension and sticky tires. To increase mechanical grip, we're widening the fenders by 1/2 inch, allowing us to fit some wider tires, reducing slip under acceleration, plus nothing wrong with a big booty back end.
Nice.
Additionally, a larger tire footprint helps distribute heat more evenly, mitigating thermal degradation and improving the consistency over sustained track laps. So that's mechanical grip. Now, let's talk about aerodynamic grip. Aerodynamic grip is just as critical as mechanical grip. Let me take you through each of the critical aero elements that will help us increase grip to spank the G80 CS. First, the front splitter. This acts as a wing on the front of the car. It extends from the lower bumper to create a high pressure zone above and a low pressure zone below. So this increases front end downforce. So we're pushing the front of the car down. This enhances front axle grip, reducing understeer in high speeds. What is understeer? Yeah, we don't want that to happen. Second, the side skirts. These help to control airflow on the sides of the car, preventing turbulent, high pressure air from spilling underneath the chassis. This maintains low pressure consistency under the car. And third, the Evo 3 rear wing. This provides additional rear downforce, especially over the tires. This allows for later braking, improved traction on the throttle, and greater high speed stability by keeping that butt planted. Proper wing angle tuning ensures just enough downforce in the corners without too much drag in the straights. In case you're curious what color this car is gonna be, here's a hint.
J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission the same. I made a splash, now all of my passes last like running a race with Usain. I keep it coming like this is buffet. And if I'm stumbling, I'm in the grave. Never gon' fumble it. I get the bag and I run with it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it. Worry with the legs, all about finesse. I am not impressed. I don't need a rest. Coming in with less, then you see the flash.
So it has been unreal to walk around this car with Chris and just see this car taking form. I was speechless. I was just pumped. All right, so now that we have the frame reinforced, the chassis figured out, we've got our aerodynamics planned, now it's time to build this motor.
You can clearly see how it's like smoky, and then you see this one. This one's like normal. So you have one, maybe two good ones. Everything else is This is just bound to fail on me.
All right, peeps, we need your help. We're trying to build something pretty awesome here at HER. And so if you like what you're seeing and want more of it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help us out. And if you want to be notified when our next episode is released, be sure to hit that bell to get a notification. Thank you so much.